In this video, we'll show you how to conduct a bucket test to see if your pool is leaking. For this test, you'll need one large bucket. The taller the better, because this is going to need to sit inside the pool. You want the water that is inside the bucket to be submerged in the pool so that it remains the same temperature as the water in the pool. You can see here we're placing the bucket on this bench. The water inside the bucket has to be higher than the level of the pool so that it holds the bucket in place and it doesn't move. As you can see here, the bucket is firmly in place because there's plenty of water in it. Now you want to mark on the bucket where the water levels are on the inside and outside of the bucket. It's okay, even preferred, to wait until the water level calms down so you get as much of an accurate reading as possible. Make sure these markings are clear because you'll need to read them again in a few days. Here I'm marking the water level for the outside of the bucket with a knife first. It's going to be really hard to get that level with a marker while it's still partially submerged in the water, so I'm just making a notch, and then I'm going to temporarily pull the bucket back out, make sure nothing spills out of the bucket, and then I can mark it with a marker. Now I'm placing the bucket back in the pool and verifying that the water levels match. I also want to emphasize how important it is that the bucket remain in the pool at all times while the bucket test is being conducted. This is to make sure that the water inside the bucket remains exactly the same temperature as the water outside of the bucket. This is to make sure that evaporation happens at exactly the same rate. Also, while the bucket test is being performed, you don't want to add any water to the pool or swim in the pool or do anything that might affect the water level of the pool outside of any potential leaks. I know this seems like a lot to go through just to find out if your pool has a leak, but hiring a leak detection company to come out usually starts at around $500. So you want to be as sure as you can be that you have a leak before you go through that kind of expense. Alright, Lance here with Pool Aid. It's been about 5 days since we started our bucket test. No one's swam in the pool, the bucket hasn't been removed for any reason. Everything's gone just exactly as planned. So now we're going to take a look at the results and see what they mean. Alright, so at first glance, you can see that the water level of the pool is actually a little bit higher than where it was when we first marked it. And of course, because the bucket was inside the pool, it received rain at the same time, and so the inside level is higher as well. So what we're going to do now is measure the difference of the water lines versus the markings on both the inside and outside level. So now we measure the differences between the markings and the new water level. The difference between the water level on the outside of the bucket and its marking was about 3/8 of an inch. But the difference between the marking and the water level on the inside of the bucket was actually about 5/8 of an inch. So this means there's actually 1/4 of an inch more water inside the bucket than outside, which indicates that there is a leak in this swimming pool. And if you encounter something similar to this when you do a bucket test on your pool, now's the time to call a leak detection company. All right, so at first glance, you are just trying to mess me up, aren't you? All right, so at first